and I had only had a few private lessons here and there. But during each of the past 2 years, I ridden horses for about 1 week at Perry Mansfield in August. After camp ended one day, we were heading down the driveway toward home, and suddenly I saw horses from the neighbor's property. I'd seen them before, and had already picked out my favorite one. He was, in my mind, the most majestic of the four of them, a fleet-bitten gray Arab Japanese. His footsteps were dainty like the small white horses of the desert, but he was also very muscular and stocky like the Budweiser horses you see in the movies. Nicknamed him Prince because he was holding his head as high as he could and standing at least a couple yards away from the clump of brown and white nose the other three horses. I wanted to actually see him up close though, even touch him. When we got to the house, I put my backpack down and asked to go see the horses. My parents were very hesitant, having heard too many horror stories involving horses. They sat down with me and looked at me sternly, and with firm voices, they made me promise that I'd stay on our side of the fence. They knew how important it was for me to go, and told me not to be alone. When I got to the fence, the horses had drifted off and were grazing further away. I stood there for a while, just watching, and then I completely disregarded my parents' warnings and precautions. I lowered myself through the bars of the fence, startling all four of the horses and causing them to look up from their graves. For the first time, they noticed me. I realized that I didn't know these horses, and they didn't know me. I hadn't spent nearly enough time around them to make them, or to be able to read their facial expressions, or any signs that would tell me that I shouldn't be there. I had no halter way to restrain them, and I had a fence of barbed wire spanning a long stretch of land in between me and Mom and Dad in the house. In the back of my head, I remembered every horse person I had worked with telling me to never approach a horse window. Oh, I did it anyways. As I got to them, they were all looking at me, and I held my hand out. Prince came up and sniffed it. I petted him and he seemed to like it. I completely forgot about all the things that could go wrong. Then, the dark bay mare, Bailey, whom I had met at a 4th of July celebration, got disturbed by something, and she kicked her back leg out straight. I imagined my parents, back home reading the book and making dinner, were probably burning dinner and gripping the book with right down the fist. I thought of my little brother, and ghosted in the new meerkat's book. I gave Prince one last pat and walked back to the house, thinking about how lucky I had been. I decided that from then on, I would always make sure I knew horses were going blindly into an open field. During the summer, before 7th grade, my neighbors with the horses invited me to ride for a little bit in the pasture. I was to ride a fleet-bitten gray horse whose name I learned was Ahab, named after Captain Ahab from Moby, which I have since decided to read. I'm not sure whether my neighbor knew that Ahab was my favorite of the four, but I was super happy that I was finally getting a chance to ride him. Riding with the chipmunk, a chestnut male named Bursting on his cheeks, Ahab faithfully proved me, followed me out of the field and into the yard. I tied him to the fence, gave him a quick brush down, and checked all of his hooves to make sure that there weren't any rocks stuck in the mud. I learned from my neighbor one of the best things about having an Arab horse, or at least a horse who's part Arab, is the hardiness of their hooves. Bred for the desert, they are built to run through endless sands, which file their hooves down and make them tough, unique to the Arab only. I got the saddle and saddle pad and set them on the ground. Because I had always gone to an English riding camp, I didn't know how to put on those things. My neighbor taught me. We started with the saddle pad, which is no different from an English saddle pad, except it's usually thicker and sturdier to be able to withstand the weight and rubbing caused by a heavy blistered saddle. With the pad situated, I put all the straps, including the stirrups, on top of the saddle so that when I slung it over Ahab's back, it ensured that nothing would be caught. Then I walked around behind Ahab and pulled the straps down from the top of the saddle so that they were hanging neatly on both sides of his belly. Most horses are trained to be tacked and mounted on the left side, so I crossed back around and prepared to fasten the straps on his left side. The first one was easy, just a leather strap like a belt, which was loose around his belly. The second primary strap was a bit more complex. There is a metal ring on the strap on the right side of the saddle, and another metal ring where a plain leather strap is connected. I learned to grab the right side strap and loop the leather strap around the rings, maybe 4 to 6 times, then cinch it up tight enough to keep the saddle from slipping. My neighbor taught me a knot to fasten the leather strap. Finally, we got the bridle from the tack shed, having kept it there to make sure that Ahab and the other horses didn't get a hold of it. My neighbor put the bridle on because Ahab hadn't quite learned to fully accept the bit yet, and he helped me into the saddle. I rode Ahab out the gate leading to the pasture. We walked for a while, and I got to feel Ahab, and he got to understand me a bit. The pasture has a steep downhill into a ditch that looks more like a stream, complete with little rocks scattered along the water. I turned him in the direction of the hill. Of course, he didn't want me to go, he didn't want to go, but my neighbor said to be persistent and to remember that I'm the boss. I kept pushing him and pushing him. Finally, Ahab decided that he had had enough. He rolled. Picture a horse rolling on their back to get us an incredibly annoying place that is otherwise unreachable. Well, with a saddle, no horse, including Ahab, can actually roll fully onto the back. But if you don't get off in time, or your foot gets stuck in the stirrup, you have a 1,500-pound animal's full weight on your leg. I jumped off, and luckily I was close enough to the ground that it didn't hurt at all when I did it. I got up immediately and walked to the fence. I watched Ahab get up and start to head in my direction, while my neighbor explained that what had just happened and what could have happened. I was definitely scared, but I got back on and got Ahab down the hill to the street. I'll never forget that pain and feeling, but as we rode, I also felt Ahab start to calm down, as I did. His ears stopped flicking and he moved forward. His steps became purer, which helped me to relax too. Even though Ahab made a scary experience while riding, I began to feel much more in control, and that Ahab trusted me. I readjusted my grip on the reins and urged Ahab down the road. Samantha, not only are you our head of school, you are a mentor, someone that every student knows that they can come to for guidance. You're caring, super enthusiastic, thoughtful, and kind. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with the 8th graders. That's a very fun experience that I will never forget. Thank you for listening to me and my friends complain about homework, and for telling us that you believe in us and will help us however you can. You genuinely care about every student, and I know that with you, I will this with you. Code. Because of you, every morning when you come into school, the floor is vacuumed, the tables are wiped, the chairs are pushed in, and there's a faint, clean lemon scent on the walls. But what I will remember just as much is the cards you draw and share with every student every year. I've always loved seeing what was in my coding card, and I will always remember them, especially the beautiful ones years ago. You have taught me how to give gifts without expecting anything in return, so thank you. Mary. One of my earliest memories of Mary is of drawing a picture of her son Drew as Romeo and Nicole Zedek as Juliet in a Shakespeare play when I was in kindergarten. Mary loved it and kept it at her desk for so long. Not many of you know this about me, but I have a bit of anxiety. Sometimes it bothers my stomach, especially when I know someone else in school has a stomach bug. Basically, I hate vomit. There have been a couple of times when I had to go to Mary because of it, and she would ask me if I wanted to sit on the couch and read it and have a cup of tea. I would say yes, and immediately she would get up and go to the kitchen and get a cup of tea for me. I was so grateful for this, and as soon as I started drinking my tea and reading a book, I felt better. Mary, thank you for all that you do to help keep the student body happy and healthy, and for healing me. Debbie. You're such an important part of the school, and it feels special to have you graduate along with us. You were here when I started, and I just think it's incredible how much you do for the school. Thank you for everything you've done for this community. I'm so glad to have been here with you. Doug. Cindy Ruzika have been my math teacher for many years, and I had never thought about what it would be like to have a different math teacher. But when Cindy left and you came to teach at Emerald, math became pretty crazy. It was all so fun, it didn't even matter. I learned so much from you this year, and geometry is by far the hardest thing I've ever tried to jump forward. I was definitely understand it now thanks to your explanation. This could be all over the place, but also makes so much sense. I'll miss your style and math for sure, but thank you for making me feel so prepared next year. Jay, in all honesty, when I learned we were getting a new English teacher, my reaction was just meh. When he started teaching us, telling us to go deeper into everything, figure out what the author's true meaning, I realized you were a really good teacher. When you introduced us to Plato and his allegory of the cave at the beginning of the year, I only kind of understood. But as time progressed, class made more and more sense, and I was excited to discover how the allegory connected to society in Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and the symbolism of color, shapes, and objects as it pertained to the outsiders by S.A. Kinney. I understand the world in a whole new way because of English this year, and I feel so ready for high school English. Jed, your class was the most eye-opening class I will probably ever take, even through high school. Thank you for teaching me that everything is not as black and white as we may think, and to always look for the complete, absolute, undoubtful truth in the world. Haley, I would guess that teaching a foreign language is probably one of the hardest things to teach, but thanks to you, I feel very prepared going into Spanish or history. You have made Spanish fun, and I actually understand it. I really hope I get you credentials next year, but I know whoever I get, I will have a good year because of how well you prepare us. Carrie, you have taught me so much about art that I probably wouldn't have learned in just any art class. First of all, you challenged me to draw something other than horses, which was my obsession, so that is quite the feat. You taught me that there are only happy accidents in an art class. If you ever get tired of being a teacher, you should consider being a storyteller. You'd be pretty good at it. You're an amazing teacher, Beth, and I was sad when I found out you were going to be gone for the last weeks of science this year. But I'm also really happy for you, and you were definitely the perfect person to have for this. I'll miss you so much next year, but I'm so happy and grateful that I got to have you as my science teacher for 4 years. Dave, you're my teacher and my coach, but you feel like my uncle. I'm so incredibly lucky to have had you in my life for the past 9 years. You have supported me so much along the way, from the minute I met you as a kindergartner at fall camp in 2010, all the way until now, and I'm so grateful for that. Jiu-Jitsu has taught me so much about who I am, and I thank you for that. And social science has always been one of my favorite classes, because you make class so fun. Outside of school, you've always listened to any of my other problems. You actually understand. Dave, thank you for always being someone I can talk to, no matter what I'm about in my life. I can't not mention Cindy Rizika, who's my teacher for 8 of my 9 years. She was such a big influence on me academically and personally. She was always pushing me to be better, and I benefited so much from that. So thank you, Cindy, for being so much more than just my teacher. Mary, even though I was in kindergarten, I started playing, and I didn't have a choice. I'm so grateful for my week's experience here at Emerald. I'm so excited to be able to play with the high school orchestra. That wouldn't have happened without you and the way you continue to push me back to be my very best at playing viola, even when you knew I wasn't trying as hard with it. Playing viola is a part of me now, and I can't imagine my life without it. Thank you for that gift and your patience and dedication to all of us. Nancy, you're my very first teacher, and I will never forget sitting on the carpet and listening to you read Charlotte's Web and Matilda. You have taught me the basics of reading and writing and what appropriate school behavior was. Even though you were only my teacher for 1 year, you have made a tremendous impact on me. I remember you would give out marbles for good behavior. I had one with me during graduation that year, but I was whispering to my friends and you took my marble away. I was so sad. All I wanted was that little marble. But somehow, I earned it back, and I still have it to this day, and cannot believe that was 9 whole years ago. I also remember you took our class up to the balcony right there, and read Charlotte's Web, I think. It took me 9 years to figure out where the door was, but I think I found it now. It made me so happy to walk into Jen's room a couple of weeks ago and see you reading Charlotte's Web to the little kindergartners this year. I hope that is something every kindergartner gets to experience with you like I did. Nancy, you founded this amazing school that has shaped and built me into me, so thank you for it. Kira, you were my very first friend. became neighbors in Exeter, New Hampshire in the summer of 2007, and we had your family over. You and I played Ring Around the Rosie all night. We held hands and spun around and got dizzy and fell down deeply, then jumped up to do it all over again. We rode our bikes together. We became big sisters together. We sucked our thumbs for way too long until our moms bought us matching thumb guards to help us win. And you were so competitive it forced me to stop right around the knee. We went on our first big girls trip together to Chicago with our moms, and we jumped across hotel beds, shopped at American Girl and Lego, and giggled like we did when we were 2. Even though we had lived apart for 9 years, we were a part of so many big moments in my life, and that is something I'm grateful for. Kaya. When I first heard there were 4 new girls coming in 6th grade, after it only being Josie for almost 4 years, I was not exactly elated. But you, Greta, Becca, and JoJo were the best additions to our class Josie or I could ask for. Every morning, I would look forward to your warm smile. It instantly made my day better, and I will look forward to seeing you next year in high school. You have an ability to see both sides of the story where there is an issue between friends, and you help the rest of us see them too. You're one of the kindest and happiest people I've ever met. Greta, the minute you walked in into us to play viola, Ella and I were super happy. The viola section had been struggling to be loud enough, but when you came in, it was no problem. Thank you for always sharing your pens with me, even in 6th grade when you were new. You encouraged me to play lacrosse, and you always told me how good I was, even though that probably wasn't true. Thank you for always being there to talk about schoolwork and for pushing me to be better with us. Grace, you're that crazy, all over the place friend that everyone loves, but only a few people get. You're supportive and always there when I need you. And you are definitely the best at turning a sad situation into a laughing movie. Just yesterday, we were playing chicken ball, a game I think Dave invented last year. I was running down to get a ball, and you were running down me. You started to slow down as I stood up, but you didn't slow down fast enough, and I was unprepared for your impact. We collided, and almost in slow motion, I was knocked off balance and fell backwards. But it didn't hurt, and we spent a good minute lying on the floor laughing our eyeballs out. Then we ran over to Dave, who couldn't understand a word we were saying because we were laughing too hard to speak. This was one of so many similar instances that almost always involved the 2 of us lying on the floor. So thank you, Gracie, for making the best out of every situation and always making me laugh. I'll miss you next year, but can't wait until you know this. So, I love how we can grow up together and still come to school one day this year, and only then realize that we know like all of the same lines. Honestly, sometimes I feel like you're my twin. We can just start randomly talking about football or how dumb it is that we have all this homework. I think it's great how we both were watching the NFL draft in the middle of spring break, and I was in New York and you were in Steamboat. We can talk about math and skiing in the same text and still understand all of what each other is saying. I can't wait to go to DC with you and be total tours with our cameras and these t-shirts that we will buy there and wear shamelessly. Thank you for teaching me how to fly, even when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, and yet again, it all hopes seems to be lost. Bridget, this year during the Stills was one of the most fun trips I've ever been on. The second night was beautiful, the stars were bright, and the sky was clear, so you, me, and Doug decided to take some pictures. We were trekking out in the snow between the yurts, Doug with tripod and camera, you and I with headlamps. We had the idea to keep the shutter of the camera open so you could write with the headlamps, which is way harder than it looks. We tried running random circles in the snow and waving the headlamps around. Then we tried to write Emerald Mountain School cursive, which also didn't turn out too well. So then we tried to make a picture that would say EMS in big bright letters for our headlamps, which we achieved more or less, but it was a struggle with plenty of retakes. Even though we didn't even come close to the perfect picture that we had envisioned, it was so much fun, it was how much fun we had to capture. I will always remember that night as one of the most fun times I've ever had on a school trip, and I'm so glad we got to try and build together further. But most of all, thank you for teaching me to always ask for help when I need it, and never be embarrassed about it. Josie, first day of kindergarten at Lowell Martin Primary School. Our friendship has changed over these past 9 years. We are still so close, and I believe we will stay that way. Every Monday and Wednesday, hanging out at your house between school and jiu-jitsu has been so fun. Recently, I remember we played something that I think was called Mexican pool. We ate pretzel things with hummus and Haribo Coca-Cola. We ran around the pool table like maniacs and laughed like crazy people, slipping on the concrete floor in our socks. Out of all the pool games we played, that was by far the best one. And I can't wait for more crazy pool games and crate making fields and National Geographic documentaries about bats. Thank you for helping me to make me the person I am and for being like my sister. I know that when we leave Emerald, we'll leave together, and I can't wait to tackle high school just like we tackled kindergarten here together 9 years ago. Hey, Edgar, you're my first dog. You're super high maintenance, but you've taught me so much. You have taught me tremendous patience and what it feels like to not love my family. The best treat for me at the end of each day is getting home and seeing your front paws hop up and down and your whole butt wide just because you're excited to see me. And girly, even if I don't show it as much as you do, I am just excited to see you. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for me. And I know we're going to do some pretty great things. Love you, buddy. Michael. You're my oldest cousin and one of the people in my life that I look up to the most. Being 10 years older than me, you have always seemed so grown, but you also totally connect with all our younger siblings, or with all your younger siblings and cousins, you know. I remember a few years ago, you driving me and Caitlin to a house in Y'all's neighborhood, where you were adopted to be. We were in Grandpa's car that he handed down to you, and you had the windows rolled down, and you and Caitlin were totally rocking to Luke Ryan's That's My Friend. I loved that and decided that I would do the same thing when I was done. Only I'll be driving an old Chevy truck on a back road blasting Springsteen by Eric Church. Thank you for teaching me how to love modern life, to love country music, and how to be humble and kind while still being the responsible oldest sibling. I can't wait to see you. Caitlin. Somehow you can do all 1,500 miles between us. Not only are we the only female cousins on the Moyer side of the family, but we literally, practically, and in all ways but one are sisters. You understand me so well. I feel like half of the things I want to say to you, you already did. I remember always being so excited to get close to you and loving all of them. I'm not even kidding, like half of my closet is filled with your teenagers. I guess that might change now that I'm finally tolerated you. One of my favorite memories of us is from last year in Colorado. We decided to head out with flip-flops and without consulting Google Maps to find our beach house the year before. Well, 3 miles and a few blisters later, we found it. At this point, we did actually use Google Maps, and it said that we were 3 miles away from the house we actually was staying here. I'm pretty sure the first thing that came to our minds was, nah, that's totally wrong. So we closed the app and continued our. We talked and walked. We got texts saying dinner was ready and asking how much longer we were going to be, and then just asking with varying levels of urgency where we were. We answered with a phone call to your mom and got one final text answering if we needed a ride. We said no. About 20 minutes later, we got back to the house. Boy, did we get our exercise. Thank you for being like my sister, for always supporting me, and for teaching me how to be a good big sister. I'm so excited to see you soon. Grandma. I have great memories of driving from our house in New Hampshire to you and Grandpa's house in Pennsylvania. One time I remember I couldn't really fall asleep, so I came and found you in the kitchen, and you took my hand and walked me back upstairs. You laid down next to me and sang little mystery songs as you were on my back. I fell almost instantly asleep, and I never had any trouble sleeping again. Thank you for always comforting me and letting me know that I can call anytime, even when I'm hardly do. I'll try to call more over the summer, and I can tell you about all the horses. Grandpa, about 6 years ago, when you and Grandma still lived in Pennsylvania, you guys took me and Garrett to retirement when we went to high school. We played this on the stage and ran around it. Garrett and I played tag and slid down all the slides on the playground. We were probably there for about an hour, and since we had already had dinner, he suggested that we go to get ice cream. In the car on the way there, he whispered to us that Daddy will never know. As we walked in the doors to the shop, I remember looking at the different ice cream flavors and being a bit awed by them. We all ordered and ate it on the way home, and it was the best ice cream I've had still to this day. So thank you, Grandpa. Receive your ice cream and super fun. Grammy. 4 years ago this summer, you, me, and Mom went to Bristol, Pennsylvania, where you and Grammy lived along with me. I remember going to the public library that we used to take Mom and Uncle Kate to, and then going to the King George River. Our table overlooked the Delaware River, and I remember looking at the window and imagining General Washington crossing the river in nearby Washington's Crossing, which we also visited on that trip. I was utter awe as in seeing the same places where he had been 300 years ago, and I'm still fascinated by all the history there. So Greenman, thank you for taking me and Mom there, for showing me a place that is so fun to you. I love that adventure and look forward to so many more in the future. Garrett, my earliest memory of you is when Mom still had me in her stomach, and she told me to put my ear against the swell that was here. I did, and I don't remember exactly what I heard, but you kicked your little baby leg out so you humiliated me, so I took my head away from Mom. I didn't understand it then, but you had influenced my life so much in the future. Thank you for being the best, most annoying, funniest little brother I could ever ask for. Love you. Dad. You have taught me so many things. How to throw a pitch ball, how to change the oil in a tractor, how to drive the tractor and the truck. And now we're learning how to take care of it. You have been there to help me every single time I ask, whether it is for math or just to bring laundry downstairs. And I don't know what I'd do without you. You taught me how to ski and use power tools, and you taught me to never ever care what other people think of me. You have taught me how to invest money, but I'm still working on that. You taught me that friendships require work, but if you put work in, then very few times will come out of it. You are a steady, consistent presence in my life, and you encourage me to always do my best, as long as I know that my best is all that matters. Most of all, you have taught me to trust in myself, to do my homework on time and correctly, to go to bed at a good time, and to do the things I love. You have heard some pretty scary horse stories, but you trust my ability, so you can understand my love of horses enough to let me pursue it. Thank you for this, Dad. For everything else you have taught me, and for everything you will continue to teach me. I love you, and I'm so grateful and happy to have you as my Mom. You're my best friend. You understand me in ways that I don't even understand myself. You're always there for me, whether it is the middle of the day or 2 o'clock in the morning. You're the mom that everyone likes because you're easygoing and kind, but you also seem to get me and my friends and all our problems. I can talk to you about anything, and you'll just listen, and tell me that it will all work out in the end. You are so supportive and only expect me to try my hardest in life. I can't keep secrets from you, but if there's something I don't tell you right away, you already know what it is. You can't stay up late with me to do, or you'll stay up late with me to do homework, and when we finish, we'll watch playing cat videos before we go to bed. There's so much more. You are so much more than words you can describe, and I love you so much.
Benefit of hard work and dedication. I saw bits and pieces of that come out with me in my work throughout elementary school, but never really saw my true potential until 7th and 8th grade. The past couple years have been filled with many days and nights of working on long essays, memorizing lines, and studying for quizzes. It all started one Friday last fall. I went to Starbucks and got a table and started writing for about 2+ hours, working on our new assignment. I chose Starbucks because I felt like it was a non-distracting, nice, modern place where I didn't have to travel 30 minutes to get home. Starbucks also has cake pops 20 feet away from me. But like any other Starbucks, there were also loads of people. It was kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure game. I could choose whether to sit near the sales pitch guy with 2 computers screaming on his phone, or I could sit near the group of teenagers who were not doing their homework and instead screaming about all the drama going on in their lives. Instead, I chose to concentrate on the assignment. The assignment was about a book called Fahrenheit 451. We had to write about how we would preserve knowledge on Mars and then use the novel to explain our ideas. My peers had many different ideas on how to do this task, including having a huge library in the middle of the city so everyone could be equally close to knowledge. I chose to write about characters in the book who were contradicting themselves, like how the main character, Montag, was a fireman, but in this world, the firemen would burn down houses when people had books inside of them. At first, Montag didn't want the truth of what was really going on in his world, but eventually he learned about the truth and importance of knowledge in books, and he learned and I worked many weeks on that paper, and I didn't give up, even when I felt like I hit a brick wall. Every Tuesday and Friday, I sat down at that one spot at Starbucks. I reread the questions, I read each portion of text, and I could see my paper evolve, and with each new paper since then, I've seen my work and each paper get better and better. I let my true artistic side show in my work. I kept wanting to improve, and I figured out that even though I didn't understand some of the story, it was still very cathartic. I felt as if I had discovered something no one else had, even though Jed had read the book multiple times and knew what every syllable meant. During our academic reflections, we were deciding what to use as our format. I wanted to make a video that included interviews and a self-assessment, or as others would call it, an 8th grade movie. Originally, I wanted to interview 4 teachers and then talk about myself to the camera with 2 camera angles, one facing me and one facing the other teacher. In my plan, the teachers' interviews would cut back and forth from teacher to teacher. I didn't know how it was going to turn out or what the process was going to be like. It turned out to be one of the hardest things I've ever done during my middle school career. I tried to interview people multiple times, I had to reshoot multiple times, and the segment where I talked to the camera took about 40 or 50 takes to successfully film. And that was just half of it. At first I tried to edit the video on my normal computer, but didn't have the proper software. Then I had to go back to an old computer with the software I wanted to use. I lost the edit multiple times, couldn't add background music, and had to spend at least a few hours just splicing and cutting a specific video segment just to get the end result that I wanted. A lot of things didn't pan out in that project, but with the teachers' reactions, the movie got positive feedback and they were amazed at the quality of the movie. In the movie, several teachers said I was a hardworking, dedicated young man who was going to do great things in this world. I wanted to follow through on the movie because I knew I could make something I was proud of and was excited about. During the assignment, I heard a quote by Stan Lee that stuck with me and still sticks to me with this day. If you have an idea that you think is genuinely good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. Sorry. Before my audition for the role of Prospero this spring, I was staying at Dave's house, constantly procrastinating, rehearsing my lines, and being distracted by Max. Sorry, Max. I had to audition with the book, and although I got the part, it was a great start. Slowly but surely, I started to memorize lines, a lot of lines. Some nights, my mom would come into my room, and I told her I wanted to quit. And she said I had never seen you quit on anything this important. As the show neared, I started to pick up steam. I practiced hardcore with the ski pole that served as my magic staff, and read the lines over and over again until I could remember the order. I twirled the ski pole around because it helped me remember what to say. The first day of rehearsals at the Chief, 3 days before the show, were still rough. I barely knew Act 5. I felt embarrassed and wanted to crawl into my fancy Prospero shirt and stay there, but I didn't. I got through the painful day somehow, went home and worked on Act 5 all night. The next day I came back refreshed and ready for the entire play. I made a black flowing cape with green, blue, turquoise, and purple strands hanging off the back. I wore that cape with pride. There were some things we still needed to work out, but we as a cast were ready. The day of the play finally came. I was nervous. I was thinking to myself, what if I forgot an important line? Or what if I hit someone in the head while I was twirling my staff? But I also thought about the good things, like how the show could be amazing and how we could get a standing ovation. I asked Jed how he thought the play would go, and he just said, I don't know, it's completely in the cast's hands. That made me even more nervous for the play, but I knew we were ready. I acted my heart out and saw my friends and family sitting in the audience, smiling and enjoying the show. It was my favorite play I had ever performed. Now on to the even more emotional part. Josie, you were as if a cupcake and a jalapeno became a person. You are one of the people I have been with at this school for almost 10 years, and I am very grateful for that. You're like a little sister to me. Thank you for always being who you really are, and mostly having a smile on your face. Even though we won't be in the same classes every day in high school, I know we'll be some of the best friends and never abandon each other. You are one of the people... I can't see the paper. You are one of the people who I've gotten to know very well. Oh, it's gone. You are one of the people I've gotten to know well throughout our years at this school. You are also one of the people, whenever I'm feeling down or mad, can count on to tell me to get it together and put my head on straight. Thank you for being one of my closest friends and being there every step of the way this crazy roller coaster we call school. Sal, my guy. I know we've had our differences, but this year I feel that we have become great friends. I'm excited to see what you do in the future while you're talking about biking or skiing, while Queen is blasting in the background. I know in high school we will still be good friends, and even though we may not see each other every day, we will be as close as friends as we are today. Max, where are you? Is he still here? Yeah. Max, thank you for being my best friend during races, camping, and just in general. Even though I won't be at this school next year, I'll still be there for you for our birthdays, races, camping trips. Whether you like it or not, I will be there for you to watch you grow into a hardworking young man throughout your life. Keegan, you're my first right-hand man. You're my first right-hand man at this school. Whenever I want to go to the movies, skiing, or biking, you're always down and ready for anything. Whenever we hang out, I can always count on you to have a good time. Thank you for always being there for me, for better or for worse, and never giving up on our friendship. Even when you move back to Australia, I know our friendship will last throughout the ages. Dutch. You have been my right-hand man since I was born. We can always go skiing or biking or just hang out whenever you're here. Even though we're thousands of miles apart. 1 minute. I still feel as if you're one of my best friends in the world. I can't wait till you're here in the summer and we can take on this steamboat bike trails like it's the last day of our lives. We've been through many adventures together and I can't wait for all the years ahead. Jen, where are you? Hi, Jen. You were one of the best English and math teachers that I've ever had. After 4th grade, I was really sad about not having you as a teacher. But I've got to see another side of Jen that I've never seen before. Thank you for always talking to me about whatever is going on in our lives, and I'm sad we won't have that anymore. But we'll try and come back to visit whenever I can and talk about whatever fun or crazy things are going on in our lives. Doug, where are you? When you first came to the school, I had an open mind and was ready for anything for you to throw at us. You taught me math while still being able to keep our class fun and interactive. I love to hear your stories about how you traveled all over the world and some of your really cool hunting stories. And I'm really glad we get to geek out about cameras stuff all the time. When I come back and visit, I want to hear all the stories we acquired over the summer. Carrie, she's great. Thank you for encouraging all of us to try new things in art, and also for showing us the fun and different ways to create art, and always saying there are no mistakes in art, just happy accidents. Jed. I was nervous to have a new English teacher after all the other English teachers throughout the years, but I had an open mind when he came to the school. You have helped me with my writing significantly while telling me to just trust myself and ideas and to go for it. You have helped me with my acting by telling me to memorize over 600 lines for the Shakespeare performance. It was also my favorite performance, my favorite and most exquisite performance I've ever done. Also, thank you for introducing me to my new favorite word, anecdotal. Debbie, you are the rock of the school. Every morning when I come in, you always have a smile on your face and are happy to be here. I don't think I've ever seen you frown, and you are one of the nicest people I have ever met. Thank you for being here for so long and keeping this school a happy and fun place to be at. Dave, you still here? Oh. I don't know what to say, but I wrote something. You've helped me with hard times in jiu-jitsu, biking, work, and personal struggles in life. You've taught me that there's ever conflict with someone, you always be the bigger person and walk away with your head held high. We've been biking in the middle of Fruita in Moab, skinning and hiking in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, and gone on countless camping trips to either help Kara or my dad in a race. I wish I could take you to high school, because every time I step into your classroom, I know I will learn something interesting. I'm happy to consider you family to Eve. Our friendship will last throughout the ages, and on bike trails, your celebratory tears of finished races, and on the mats. Got this. Steve. And Grandma Anderson. Every time I come to your farm, I know I will have some of the best times of my childhood. Whether it's lighting stuff on fire, chopping stuff down, or riding around the gator, or racing Aunt Lori's Camaro down the farm roads of Blue Mountain, Illinois, I know I'll have some of the best times ever. And every time I drive any piece of farm equipment or the tractor, I know you'll be thinking of Great Dad and how proud of me he is walking with Jesus in the kingdom of heaven. Thank you for always being there for me and supporting anything I want to pursue in life. Dad. Mr. Mountain Man, the king, or as Dave likes to call you, Mr. Antisocial. You're my first running, skinning, biking, fishing, and shooting and hunting partner and coach. You're the person that has showed me how amazing our world is, and you have taught me that the outdoors is worth going out of your way to see, and how to experience nature from a whole new perspective. By that, I mean going 20 miles into the middle of the wilderness and calling that paradise. Even when you're on the other side of the planet in Japan, I will ski, run, bike, shoot, and hunt, just as you were there right with me. Mom, thank you for always being there for me, whether in the best or the worst times of my life. You're the person who taught me to always hold my ground and not take anything from anybody. You have also encouraged me to go for whatever I want in life. Even after a hard day's work, every time I come home, you greet me with hugs, kisses, cats, and dogs in my face. I know you will always help me and see me do great things in life. And most of all, thanks for being my mom. Thank you.
On the second night of my kindergarten camp trip, I got up and belted out the song "Elvis Is Everywhere" by Mojo Nixon in front of the entire school, not knowing what would happen or how people would react. According to my dad, I liked the song a lot when he would sing it around the house. I started to learn the words after he played it for me a few times, and I started to like listening to Elvis Presley music. And surely, as my classmates can attest, my love for old music lives on strong to this day. This topic has been the start of many, let's just say, heated debates within our class. They always say that old music is bad, whatever, and that I have a terrible taste in music. But it works out because I feel exactly the opposite way. I have to say, there are some ultimate classics that we can all agree on, because frankly, who can say no to I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts? My unique taste in music has and still does make up a huge part of who I am. Sure, there have been some times when Dave has to throw a marker at me because I'm rocking too hard with the Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Bachman-Turner Overdrive, or The Who. But that's me. I am often that kid in the corner too busy air guitaring to Bohemian Rhapsody to hear what the teachers say. Sorry, Dave. My singing career at Emerald Mountain School did not stop after that camp trip. In first grade, I went on to sing at Nancy Spillane's retirement party at the Strings booth. Little first grade Sal up on the stage in front of hundreds of people, singing the song Somewhere Out There from the movie American Tail. If you've heard it, you know that it sounds like a sad song. So you can imagine a tiny little kid up there singing it definitely brought tears to Nancy, my parents, and I'm sure lots of other people in the audience. One time during rehearsal, I was trying to figure out how the microphone worked, and of course, I was very short. The microphone was up on a stand, and I could just barely reach it. I was trying to turn it on, because I thought the microphones were so cool, and this was the first time I'd really held or used one. All this time, Marianne was yelling at me from the other side of the stage or the audience or somewhere. Marianne, I'm very sorry that I was ignoring you. At some point, when I did not stop messing with it, the person in the booth that controls the lights and things got on the intercom and said, "Sal Malone, step away from the microphone." When I heard the booming voice on the speakers, it totally freaked me out. I stopped and we moved on with the rehearsal. The only other things I remember about that event was that my dad was trying to tell me something about how to hold the microphone, that if I switched hands, I would seem more professional. I also remember that Nancy had these little packs of tissues, and on the wrapper it said, "It's my party, I'll cry if I want to." My mom has them right now. As many of you know, I am an avid telemark skier, and as of more recently, a telemark ski racer. As you also probably know, I had an injury in the late summer of 2018 that resulted in me not being able to ski for most of the past ski season. It was a different type of injury, not the kind where you fall and break your arm and say ow and you get a cast and after a few weeks it's all healed. This was the kind of injury that happened over a long period of time, and we assumed that it was from all the intense mountain biking I had been doing in the recent months, with hard impacts and repeated strenuous motions. Basically, my growing joints could not keep up with how hard I was riding. This injury has impacted me greatly on the outside because my lack of activity has caused a huge loss in muscle mass as I've not been able to do anything to maintain it. I found it difficult just to walk up the stairs and I get completely winded running down the street to catch the bus. It's going to be extremely difficult for me to regain my strength in time for next ski season. It's going to take dedication, motivation, and possibly the help of a personal trainer. My injury has been really hard on me mentally also, because skiing has been a huge part of my life ever since I was 2 or 3. It has cut down on the things that really make me who I am. If any of you have biked or skied with me, you know that I do not hold back, even when there's a cast on my arm. For me, it's all the send, all the time. If you haven't biked or skied with me, and you are sane, logical, and not a huge risk taker, it's probably for the better. Some of my best biking and skiing buddies, who are just about as crazy as me, are Keegan Millen and Cohen Struck. We've had countless days bombing around town on our bikes, jumping off stairs, riding along skinny, elevated ledges, and of course, messing around at the Howelson Skate Park. This has been, and I think still is, one of our favorite bashing spots. We've conquered just about all the features there are on bikes, and about 0 of them were designed for us. But that didn't stop us from dropping into the half pipe, rocketing up huge quarter pipes, and getting massive air on tabletops and landing flat on concrete. Once, Cohen and I went night skiing up on Mount Werner. We were just skiing around and ripping down Seamy because really there's nothing else to do. At one point, it started getting kind of crowded at the top, so Cohen and I decided to get off halfway and do terrain laps. We got on the lift with these 2 guys and started talking to them. We ended up skiing with them for the rest of the night. They were super cool guys and really, really good at skiing. They were doing all kinds of sweet tricks on the rails in the terrain part. And they were making an edit, or a short video that showcased their mad skills. And they both wanted to be in it, so Cohen and I filmed for it. I was kind of wimping out of the rails and just sliding the boxes, because my lame excuses were, 1, I don't have the right skis for it, which was partially true, and 2, I don't know how, which was also true. One of the guys said, it's easy, you just ski up to it, jump, turn your skis sideways, and don't forget to turn them straight before you land. It didn't seem all that easy to me, especially based on his explanation, but I went for it. It wasn't that hard. At first I was just doing little tail taps to get a feel for how slippery the rail was, then I really did it. It wasn't that hard. I did crash a few times, but it was worth it. That was a super fun night, even though I did go home with some good bruises. You know what they always say, if you're not crashing, you're not trying. Telemark skiing is quite different from alpine skiing in many ways. If you're not familiar with the term alpine, it is the kind of skiing that some people might refer to as normal or downhill skiing. It is the kind where your foot is completely locked into the ski, and to take the ski off, you have to push down on the lever behind your boot. With the telemark setup, your boot is firmly attached to the ski, but only by the toe. Your heel is free to move up and down as if you were walking. If you see someone's ski boots and they look really funky, those are probably telemark boots. What I mean by funky is that on the boot where the top of your foot would be, there are weird wrinkles in the boot. It is this part that allows it to bend inside of the binding. Also, the front of telly boots are squared off in a weird way, and that is sometimes called the duckbill. Odd name, but it's an accurate description. If you don't think telemark skiing in itself is hard enough, then take the difficulty up a notch and try your hand at telemark racing. It is basically the world's greatest, most difficult, excruciating, and yet hilariously fun mashup ever. It is a combination of lunging on planks down an icy hill, Nordic ski jumping, jet plane piloting, and Nordic skate skiing. The reason I say jet planes is because of the major G-forces that are involved with the feature known as the Rapaloosa, or RAP, towards the end of the course. Basically, it is a big 360-degree bank turn that you ski through. It kind of looks like a 10-foot-tall toilet bowl made of snow. Telemark ski racing gives me an incredible sense of freedom, strength, and accomplishment, and insanity. Also, it's just ridiculously fun to fly off a jump at breakneck speed with your feet only half attached to your skis. Since kindergarten, Emerald Mountain School has both allowed and encouraged me to be who I am. One of the main reasons I love this school is the environment. All the people that are involved in this school make Emerald what it is, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank those of you for doing what you do. Also, I really hope I can make it through at least half of this without crying. Here we go. Avery, you've been one of my closest friends since the beginning, and for that I'm so thankful. I have enjoyed skiing with you, shooting bows, watching and talking about football, and how that Chiefs game was totally rigged. Thank you for always answering my FaceTime calls and text messages late at night when I'm struggling with math. It has been awesome to be able to lean on you in math and so many other things. Bridger, it's meant a lot to have you by my side throughout this year. I'm so glad we overcame our differences and became friends last summer, because I really have enjoyed hanging out with you. Whether it was cruising around downtown on Halloween or talking while we hiked up Elbert at 5 in the morning, I'm really grateful to be your home. You are an awesome friend, and I want to thank you for being you. Josie, it's been so great to have known you since kindergarten, because you are such an amazing person. You are kind, funny, forgiving, and super smart. It really means a lot that we are still friends after 9 years, especially taking into account some of our recent disagreements. I love hanging out at your house, playing roof ball, Just Dance, even though I'm terrible at it, and strumming on your dad's guitars. I'm really looking forward to being friends in high school and hopefully getting to be in some of the same classes. Greta, thank you for being awesome. Whether you are sporting battle wounds from ski racing or you have a hilarious story to tell, I am always happy to see you in the mornings. I love discussing skis, ski racing, and certain professional ski racers, even when it's in the middle of art class and we're supposed to be quiet. You have taught me so much about how to extract the best parts of my personality, and it means a lot that you have been my friend. Kyle. Everyone looks forward to see your smiling face in the world. You have always been there to cheer me up when I'm sad and insult me in that great Kyle way that you always do. I've only known you for 3 years, but I wish I knew so. Violet. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you better throughout this year. Your sometimes weird obsessions with random hockey players or actors, and your ability to make anyone laugh at any time makes you who you are. Also, you understand all of my very weird jokes that a lot of people don't. Kudos to you for that. Tristan. Oh, Tristan. You are one of my best friends, and it has been so much fun talking with you about some of our common interests, like RC trucks, archery, and more recently, lacrosse. You are a super awesome dude, and I'm so happy that we've grown close over the years. You always find a way to make me laugh, even if it totally creeps me out. Also, I still can't get over the fact that you're not welcome to Walmart anymore. Grace. There have been multiple occurrences that have caused us to sit together in class, with the teacher thinking that we would completely ignore each other. The majority of the time, the opposite has happened. I remember that one time in art class, we were just cracking up throughout the entire class, and we hardly got any work done. I don't even remember what we were laughing about. I just know that it was so stupid. I'm happy that we've had so many moments like this, and I'm looking forward to making more dumb jokes and conversations with you in the future. Mahela. You are a gleaming beacon of happiness, and I honestly cannot remember a single time that you have been sad. Even though sometimes you really worry me with your random laugh attacks that can't be explained, you're constantly ready to talk with me about anything that needs discussing. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I'm looking forward to hanging out and having more crazy adventures this summer and in the years to come. Lindy. Where would I be without you, Lindy? Well, I made sleepovers and weird conversations have aided in fortifying our friendship over the years. Our hilarious memories greatly outweigh our arguments, and I'm so glad that it's so. I love climbing up on your roof in the winter and jumping off, especially when we start getting expensive cameras involved. Me sliding backwards down a hill on my back and almost getting decapitated by a fence post. Sledding on yard boards and running into nearly every tree in sight. Playing capture the flag with Nerf guns and me hiding the flag on top of your fan. Our various deep, thoughtful conversations just scratch the surface of all the disturbing and yet awesome memories we've had. I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm looking forward to more freaky, weird experiences soon to come. Ava Heron. I did not really know you before, but I'm so grateful that I've gotten to know you because you're really an awesome person. We have similar weird senses of humor, so it's no surprise to me that we get along. One of the things I love about you is your ability to find humor in the things that most people wouldn't be able to. Steve. Oh, Steve. You're the guy that we see every morning, passing out hugs to everyone that walks by. It's been so great to see you almost every day, because if I'm feeling down, I can always rely on you to cheer me up. Even if it sometimes involves tickling or other methods of loving torture. Thanks for your awesome humor, your kind heart, and for putting up with me. I call you Stevia, like the artificial sweetener. But deep down, I know that you are most certainly not fake. Thank you for everything. Christine, I'm so glad that you've become a part of our community and that we've grown close in the short time we've known each other. You, Steve, Ava, Josh, and Jack have become like family to me, and I want to thank you for always giving me warm hugs in the morning and asking me how I'm doing. You are such an amazing person, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for being who you are. Matt. Dang it, he's not here. Thank you for being my awesome cousin. I'm so happy to be related to you because, again, you're so awesome. I love sending emails back and forth with the lyrics to a particular song, classic rock song, and the other person has to guess the song. Congratulations to you for finding No Doubt one of the sweetest, kindest, most loving women that ever existed and bringing her into our family. Caitlin. Matt's fiance. I am so glad that Matt found you and that you will soon be joining the Middleton Malone tribe. It is a pleasure to be around you, and I'm looking forward to your wedding in September. It has meant a lot to me to have you as a mentor, bad joke guinea pig, and just general cool person. As soon as we met, you felt like family to me, and I'm so happy that you decided to marry my awesome cousin. Doug. Every time I remind myself that I only met you at the beginning of this year, it seems so crazy. When Cindy left, we were all sure that there would never be another math teacher as good as her in the history of the world, and the shoes that she left behind were very difficult to fill. I would say you've done an incredible job. You're one of the people that helped convince me to buy my first DSLR camera, and that was definitely one of the best purchases I've ever made. I have enjoyed the countless minutes we've had geeking out about camera gear after class, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. Thanks for being our awesome math teacher. Dave, it's been so much fun having you as my teacher. I've had you as one of my teachers every year I've been at this school. You always let us play the best games, a lot of which we make up. I've absolutely loved the spring trips, and I'm glad that I chose to do biking every time because you are such a strong biker, and you inspire me to push myself hard but have fun at the same time. Projects we do in social science are fun, but not nearly as fun as ripping down Joe's Ridge at 18 Road in Fruita. Thank you for being an awesome teacher, biker, and all the other things you've also had. Jed, you've exposed sides of me that I never knew existed, all through the power of writing. While I struggled mightily on some projects, you always told me that the reason I was frustrated was because I had too many good ideas and I couldn't write about them all. The same goes for this speech. You are a wizard in shaving off excess words here and there and leaving the reader, or listener in this case, with the bare bones of the story. I've had so much fun in your class, and I will carry all the writing, acting, and reading skills you have taught me for the rest of my life. Thank you for teaching me how to read all over. All the things you've showed us have made me a better reader and helped me understand the book more. Even if it is just a library book and we can't write in it, it helps a lot to slow down and really think about everything that's happening. Thank you so much for teaching me all of these wondrous things about the English language. Marianne, you have helped me discover a love for music that will live on strong for the rest of my life. I've learned so much about the cello, so much more than just how to play notes. These skills are so valuable to me, and I'm excited to unfold new opportunities in the high school orchestra. Okay, I love your class so much, and I'm always excited to come to strings class. Carrie, whether we were playing exquisite chords at the beginning of class or mixing what seemed like millions of colors to paint our sketchbooks, I'm always excited to come to art class. I've learned about different mediums and how to use them, many different artists who use all kinds of different mediums, and most importantly, that there are no mistakes in art, only happy accidents. I would love to be able to take one of your classes at the college, because I'm sure I will learn about a new side of art that I never thought existed. Thank you for putting up with me and helping me on various difficult projects. Beth, I love seeing pictures and hearing stories about the little Italian sausages, and I wish I could be here for the soon-to-come stories about the newest member of the tribe. I know that I've been quite a special child sometimes, all the time. You have taught me so much about so many things, and we would be here all day if I tried to describe them. One of the most important things that I have learned is that time management is hands down the most important thing about any project or assignment. Also, that mine is really bad. I think about all the fun things we've done every time I think about you and all the fun things we've done every time I see my paint pendulum painting hanging in the dining room. Haley. Where's Haley? Haley, hi Haley. You've been so much more than a Spanish teacher to me. Ski buddy, guitar partner, and of course, Spanish teacher. I've come so far in your class and you were able to make it so fun. All the times that we've just sat and talked out, playing guitar and singing at the talent shows, watching Ellen Tornado during class. I'm looking forward to our DC trip, and it's going to be so awesome having you there. Gracias para todo. Debbie, you've been the backbone of this school since the beginning. You've made such a huge impact on this school and everyone in it. I don't think anyone will really be able to take care of this. Thank you for all you have done to keep this school going day after day. We really appreciate what you do. Mary. It is so great to walk into school every day and see you sitting behind your desk in the same spot, right across from the door, smiling and saying good morning to everyone that walks by. So many times I've walked up to the printer and had absolutely no idea what to do. He would get up and ask if I needed help, which of course I did. With a few swift button presses, I would have the copies I need and be on my way. It has been so awesome to see you every day, and I'm going to miss you in high school. Thank you for helping me make this school what it is. Samantha, I love coming in and seeing you in the mornings and saying goodbye as I head out at the end of the day. You've always been there for me if something was happening, or if I just needed someone to talk to. I lost it again. You fitted with the atmosphere of the school perfectly, and as soon as you came, I knew that you were going to be a great person. You often tell me how much I've matured over the past years, and you've been a huge part of that. I've learned so much just from being around you. Taking us out for ice cream or lunch, or just talking with me as I'm walking out the door. Thank you. Nancy, I honestly wish that everyone could have the chance to have you as a teacher, because if they did, the world would be much better. It brings a smile to my face seeing you here helping out with kindergartners, and I'm glad that they have the chance to learn from you. I remember the time when we read the book Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss, and then you actually made us green eggs and ham. You definitely made the right decision starting this school, and I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it before you retired. Thank you for everything you've done. You have no doubt made Steamboat a better place. Mom and Dad. I could say thank you and I love you a trillion times, and it still wouldn't even come close to telling you how much you mean to me. You've been there for me every step of the way, giving me a helping hand or a shoulder. I love everything that we do together. Our family camping trips, skiing, biking, watching MacGyver on Friday nights. I love it when both of you come up to touch. EMS has helped me figure out who I am. I really appreciated the incredible opportunity to attend this school for so long because it has taught me so many valuable things about more than academics. I will carry all the amazing things I've learned with me into high school and for the rest of my life. While I'm heartbroken to be leaving this wonderful school and all the things that made it so, I'm ready to begin the next chapter of my life as a high schooler. I've met so many amazing people here, and quite a few of them I'm sure will be lifelong friends.
Chairlift can be long, but after finishing your run, the anticipation, adrenaline, accomplishment, a smile are all the reward for the long ride up. Even when it seems boring, the ride up the chairlift can be a break to reflect on the last run and look forward to the next. On the ride up, I normally take deep breaths and try to focus on what I did well and what I did. Knowing what didn't go well helps me to visualize what I need to attend on my next run and how to go about it. By the time I'm at the top, I still have nerves for the next run, trying to anticipate whether or not I will have a good time, worrying about the condition possible. But I get into the start gate with a good attitude, waiting till I get clear from myself. When I jump into the course with a strong start and I hope that I can achieve, I put my all into each run and I push myself to go faster, in better form, knowing that if I try my best, I'm happy with whatever time I end up. Projects for me can be hard to start, but once I do, I move forward and continue to work. At points, I just need to take a moment and assess where I am and where I should be before jumping back in. Once I do, I work hard with the time I have. Sometimes I stress about whether or not I will be able to finish. But when I do, I am proud and I know that putting in so much time is worth it. Before 6th grade, I had gone mountain biking once or twice before, but only on Emerald, my dad. It was nothing like biking in Moab during my first year at Emerald. We rode on all sorts of different terrain. It started with riding trails to steep up hills, then to biking on slip rock, and with the help of Dave and my dad, I became much more comfortable with my bike and more with riding. Most of the obstacles including ledges, hard climbs, and riding over rocks I had never ridden before. When I didn't think I could do it, Dave got off his bike to stand at the end in case I fell, and when I started to fall, he was there. My perspective on such challenges as with racing in my classes has developed a lot in the past year, and I know that my teachers are the ones who will help me to push through and work hard for my goals. Dave, you understand how to deal with every situation, and you always know the right thing to do. I have learned so many valuable lessons from you, and I will never forget any. Josie, Grace, Avery, and I have drawn so many pictures for you, and you always hang them up in you. From just drawing your name to filling an entire page with random doodles, you make me feel better by handing each and every one. You help me as a student, person. Beth, I've learned so much in classroom. You make learning easy and fun, and you spark my love for science. You push me to do my absolute best in and out of class, knowing that if I push harder, I can achieve. Jed, since you came to this school, I've learned to look at meanings and metaphors in a totally different way. You have taught me to look past what I see and understand things at a deeper level. I have also learned to write so much better than I did before. You have broadened my vocabulary, made me a better Scrabble player, and showed me how to solve crosswords. Haley, I've come so far in Spanish over the past 2 years. You make learning Spanish fun, but also challenging. I have learned so many words in Spanish this year, and I know they will help me so much next year as well. From reading to doing Middlebury, I wouldn't be where I am without you. Doug, even though math can be hard, you help me to understand all the concepts. You are really funny and honest, like the time we asked you to finish this movie break and you said no. I will probably never forget that. You make class fun. Carrie, you have taught me that art can be everywhere, from playgrounds to canvas. You are really easy to talk to, and I've loved every part of art class. Marianne, at the start of 6th grade was the first time that I knew. I loved it. Everything about learning a new instrument and the sound. Of course, when I started, my friends can tell you it did not sound as I hoped it would. But you showed me that it was possible to become a better player. From all the songs we have played, I took something out of each one, and you helped me learn all the basic techniques that I needed to know to be. Teresa, I don't know where I would be without you. You have taught me so much in these past 2 years, not only how to excel as a Nicola, but also as a person. You are one of my biggest role models, and I am so happy to be Debbie, you made me feel so welcome when I first started at Emory. You are always there to greet me with a smile and you help support my teammates. You are one too many. Mary, we always have a solution for any problems and are willing to help you. You know that everything we do at Emory is possible. Samantha, you understand everyone and you listen no matter the circumstance. We've had some super funny and great lunches, and I'm so excited to see you. During the winter before the holidays, we always do a Secret Santa where we secretly give gifts to an assigned person and receive gifts from someone else. This year, I picked Grace's name out of a hat and could not wait to give her the present. A week before, she had talked about how she hates raw broccoli and how she doesn't understand why anyone would go for it. On Monday, everyone expects cookies, cakes, brownies, or anything sweet. So when broccoli showed up in Grace's locker, she was so mad. She was talking to me about how she thought that maybe someone didn't understand the first point of the day, and about how the weekend, or about how much she just hates broccoli and how this broccoli is eaten uncooked. During the weekend, I had also made her cookies because everyone knows that Grace loves cookies, and I had someone put them in her locker during lunch. When lunch was over and Grace found the cookies, she laughed at how bad she was in. She was determined to figure out who was her sister. When she got a pencil with no tip and no eraser for a school tool the next day, she went out asking who it was, and I pretended to know. By that time, everyone else in our class knew I had Grace, and they were helping me get misdirect. It wasn't until the 4th day when we were sitting on the couch, she said, "It's you." My face got all red, and I said, "What? No." And she looked at me and said, "Hi, it's you." I tried to hold back a laugh, and Grace yelled, "It's Greta," as she ran down the hallway to tell the class. It's moments like these that remind me how much all of my friends mean to me and everything they do. Grace, you are a hilarious friend. All the times that you saw me speaking, you yelled "Greta-da-da-da" at the top of your lungs and made me smile. You are always there for me, from arranging our beautiful pens and weird-looking snowman oils for our class. Thanks for all the memories. Josie, I'm not sure which came to mind first. Our record of keeping a ping-pong ball bouncing in the basement for 3 minutes and 34 seconds, or the moments when you and Avery tried to teach me how to hurdle. Spoiler alert, ping-pong Football game ended up much better than hers. You are always there to understand people and you make every crazy adventure. You know that we will stay best buds through high school. 8th grade. You are always there for me, whether it's being my math or strength buddy or simply an amazing friend. Although I fell on my face before, you normally catch me in. You've been a friend that is always there for me and you never put yourself before others. I already know we'll be in some sleep, and I'm so grateful that you were with us. Kaya, I cannot remember one day since 6th grade that I have seen you in bad mood. You are always there cheering everyone up even when you don't have to. You are so encouraging and all you do is make me as well as everyone else in my class feel better. Bridget, on the way to Elbert, you made everyone laugh with your cat ride. You always see the bright side, and even in math, and sometimes I don't get it, you are determined to figure it out. Sal, in Moab, you were normally cursed on trails. Even though I was inexperienced, you showed me how to ride certain lines and obstacles to make it easy. On the other hand, I definitely beat you on ski day even though Sophia, I don't know what I would do with that. You had the pit to my avocado, and even though I'm crazy, you are crazy, and I love you. You make me smile every time I see you in Denver, and I love you so much. 6 years ago, my family and I went to Uza as friends. We went in with flexibility, looking to explore. Once we arrived, the weather wasn't as we expected, so we made the best of our trip. We drove to the beach with an open mind, looking for something to do. As we arrived and all wet, the ocean was so close and all the fun. It was warm and sunny and lots of shops, grocery stores, and laundry was without my parents having that flexibility and we never have found it, and I'm so grateful. Before moving to Steamboat, we lived in Castle. It was about 45 minutes to school, except when there was traffic, and it could take more than an hour. Every day, my parents would drive us to school and back to Castle. And it wasn't just to school. We also had gymnastics, frisbee, and piano, which was even more drying. I'm so thankful for my parents. Every year, we take our best family friends to fries and have family vacations for our birthday. We have 6 kids, which is a lot. You take us on amazing trips as well as make me try new foods and new activities. I have learned so much. Mom, you are always there when I need you. You know exactly how to brighten up a bad day and show me the upsides to everything. You push me to do my absolute best every single day, and you made me who I am today. I love you so much. Dad, your pancakes are amazing. I don't think you do. You are there to help me with anything I'm struggling with, whether it's school or throwing the ball to get ready for it. I know you will always be there for me, and I love you so much for everything you do. In Denver, we have a big backyard, and there's a group of trees that often enters. My sisters and I would explore the area and look new places to go and be surprised to get there. This was normally a daily routine where we would come home from school and go run around making animal footprints and trying to follow them. By the time I was a kid, I knew that forest like the back of my hand. A year later, my sisters and I had found a section that we loved to see, and so we started to collect it. After we had found all the loose wood in the forest, we took wood from our garage and piled all of it in our rose pot. The next day, we lined it up on top of 2 trees and we took long dry grass to put on top of the wood. Later, we carried logs over and set them for a place to sit, as well as more wood and grass for a bed. Of course, we were never allowed to sleep in the woods, but we loved going out during the day. Going into 4th grade, it was only my sisters and the Fry kids that knew about our spot. Still now, we go back to Denver and visit our little home and see how it's changed. I'm so thankful for my sisters for always being there. I remember going to Spain for a week about 7 summers. One evening, as the sun started to go down, we all took a walk. We started out along the road and eventually made our way closer and closer to the water. We were walking ankle deep along the shore, collecting seashells and admiring the waves. Then one of us splashed and got the other way, the shorts moved down. And over the next few days, I still had some in my hair and my shorts. And I will never forget how much fun I had with my sisters. Margot, you have always been the person I looked up to. You deal with me being in the room. I still don't understand why you got your room. But I look up to you, whether it's schools, sports, or just being a good person. back stronger, and I will want to get better even always Adelaide. You're always trying to one-up me on everything. You end up pushing me harder. You support me with everything I do and show me that I can always go further than I think. I know that you will always have my back, and you know I will always have yours. I love you so much. I am so excited for next year in high school, but I'm looking forward to keeping all of my best friends that I have here at this school, as well as all the valuable life lessons that my teachers have taught me.
I did not like the idea of moving away from my old town to someplace I didn't know. I felt that I would need to completely start over. This was like a huge tsunami that loomed over me and brought me down. My life changed the moment I heard that we were moving. The reason was because of academic purposes. Apparently, I wasn't getting the education that I needed. I thought my elementary school was great and the teaching was good. But I also knew that there were places that I did need help. My mood began to change. I went from this always happy, bubbly person to a shy, quiet person. My friends noticed. They kept asking me what was bothering me. At first, I didn't say a word because I was still upset. But I knew that I could eventually tell my closest friends. One day, when my friends asked me again for what must have been the 15th time, I just said it, quickly, and I was staring at the ground. I'm moving to Steamboat Springs at the end of the year. Please don't tell everyone. I thought that they would ask if I would never see them again. I thought that they would be mad. Their reaction was not what I expected. The look on their faces was of understanding and caring, and they just nodded. Of course, they were sad, but they were also happy for me. Our friend group was tight, and I'd known them since preschool. I trusted them with my secret, and they kept it. When I first saw everyone in school, I was amazed at the difference. I had never been to a private school or even seen one. When I walked through the door, I noticed a bigger family, the difference in students, and the heartwarming acceptance. I also learned quickly that I would get far more attention from my teachers. The teachers here pay close attention to how you are and what you do. Teachers here care about you, and they want to help you excel. I had attention from teachers in my last school, but not enough. Sure, I could ask for help or ask a question from them, but here I can schedule a private study session before or even after school. When I first started in 6th grade, I felt a little nervous because I was the new challenger. She was right. I did not want to fall behind. I started to complete my homework on time and my grade went up. I'm still not that good at time management, but I'm getting better at it. The community here is also caring or passionate. At public school, only a few people were ever as close to me. Here, this is like a family. We care so much about everyone, and each student, parent, or sibling is involved. We're all in, as it says in the school ad. No one is left out. Sure, my old teachers cared about every student, and the principal knew every single student's name, but Samantha is way more involved, more enthusiastic, and more encouraging. Here, my teachers are fun and inclusive, and let us do more hands-on projects than my old school. How could I tell that they're all in? Because they want to make a difference, and they're not afraid to try. I went from a school that had almost 200 students to a school that had almost 40 to 60 students. I immediately noticed the noise difference. In a public school, typical things you would hear are, don't throw pencils in the classroom, don't talk to your neighbor, are you listening? At EMS, I hear, who has the answer for question 8? Outstanding job, everyone. Take out your notes, please. The nose difference is still stunning compared to a public school. Here, I feel something else. I get respect from teachers and students, I love the classes, and I work hard for good grades. When I came to EMS, I wanted freedom, or at least I wanted to connect with other students without my parents checking on me. My first spring camp trip to Moab was the first trip I went on without my parents. It felt like the freedom that I wanted. I had an amazing tent group. The first night, however, was somewhat scary. The tent I was in was pitched in the opening of tree branches. 50-mile-per-hour winds were blowing everyone's tent sideways or bending the poles, and some tents flipped. I felt scared, and I wanted my mom, or just to get inside some building that was not a tent. I started to freak out. Lindy and Mihaela calmed me down and said that it's okay because it's just wind. I was still scared that the tent was going to flip, but it held up. The next few days were the best days I've ever had on a camp trip. The hiking at Arches was spectacular. The only downside was that I had to dump at least an inch of sand out of my backpack and duffel bag the next morning at my house. Just last week, I played in my favorite overall concert I've been in throughout the 3 years I've been here. While I played 5 songs in total, it was my first time playing a solo. I'm usually in duets or trios, but since that was sadly my last concert with the school, I decided to give it a go and finish the year with a solo. At first, I was just searching for random songs that I liked at home on my computer to look at the music sheet. One of my playlists had a song from Titanic that I liked because it was played by the violin, viola, and the cello. I looked up the sheet music for the song and I tried playing it, and I attracted my parents to the sound. Apparently, they listen to every note I play in my room when they're downstairs. It's strong, in my opinion. The song was a hymn, so I think it's either the gracefulness or the tune to the song that attracted them. I practiced it at least 100 times. Sometimes I felt weird having my parents listening to me, but they gave me feedback and thoughts about how I could improve. Because of this, I excelled at the concert. I was still nervous during the show. Actually, when it was time to play my solo, my arm was shaking so much that I almost dropped my cello. But when I started playing, the calm sound of the piano was relaxing and I saw surprised faces in the audience. I thought the surprised faces were more impressed. I knew that this was it. 3 years of non-stop practicing the cello. This is where I made my final mark. Now before I end this speech, I want to take time to thank family and friends who've helped me along these 3 years. You're nice and kind to everyone around you. You're also a talented viola player and a jiu-jitsu competitor. You're an extremely loyal friend. Also, thanks for helping me not be the only Kansas City Chiefs fan. Josie, you've been incredibly nice to me ever since I've walked through the doors. You can make anyone smile or laugh. Every time you smile or laugh, it's contagious and everyone else starts smiling or laughing. Greta, just like Josie, your laugh and smile are contagious. When we both started in 6th grade, you were so kind to me and I'm glad I wasn't the only new student. Frederick, you're a great friend to everyone. Your leadership this year is impressive. Sal, I have no words for you, actually. You are loved by every single kid here at Emerald, and you're an outstanding leader. Thanks for being my friend for the past 3 years. Grace, you're a creative, amazing, fun friend. You never hesitate to express your imagination. Ben, a person of few words but full of potential. You don't speak out, but you are wicked smart and a fun friend. Jack, again, like Ben, you don't speak out, but you're smarter than you think and more creative than you think. Ava, I've never met someone who adores puppies as much as you, or loves Disney as much as you. Don't ever let these things go. Also, who doesn't love puppies or Disney? Lindy, you are such a talented, fearless person. You're never scared to try or do something. You can do anything you put your mind to, even playing the cello with a cast on your wrist or leg. But let me just say, please stop hurting yourself. You've sprained or broken some bone, muscle, or ligament countless times. Mihaela, I don't know where to start. My adventure partner, also one of my best friends. We've had so many countless fun moments together. From screaming at the creepy college haunted house when it actually wasn't scary, it was more funny, to diving and swimming like dolphins together in Cozumel. You've stuck with me for the past 3 years, and I've always thought of you like a sister to me because we'll stick together and you can always make me smile. Even though we've only known each other for 3 years, I've felt that I've known you since I was born. You're such an amazing, true friend, and I hope that this friendship will last. Steve, where do I start? You are like an uncle to me, and you always meet me in the morning and hug me when I'm down, and I'm so thankful that I've known you for 3 years. Carrie, you've inspired a love for art in me that I never knew I had. You brought out a creative side to me, and now I'm not afraid to draw or do art even. Jen, even though I've never had you as a teacher, you are loved at Emerald. Everyone adores you, even the kids. You're the best teacher I've seen teach little kids. Beth, before I came to the school, I would never be myself or a nerd because I thought that everyone would make fun of me. Here, you taught me that it's okay to be me and no one else has a say. Haley, you've helped me so much in Spanish. I am very grateful for it because now my parents are willing to take me to more foreign countries because you taught me Spanish. My parents actually call me their translator. It's helped me even socially because I occasionally meet people from Mexico at my summer camp, and they can't speak English. It's helped a lot. Marianne, thank you so much for helping me get so far in the streams for the past 3 years. I never knew that I could get this far. You made it possible. You believed in me even when I didn't. Doug, at the beginning of the year, I thought no one could replace our old teacher, Cindy, but you fit the spot perfectly. Also, it is a privilege to work in class when you randomly roast someone. For a teacher, I'd say you know your roast and burns. Dave, your classes have been a blast, especially when Josie, Grace, Avery, and Greta hid under the table and you threw markers, pencils, and a pencil can at them. Your reaction was amazing. Jed, thank you. Thanks to your teaching, you've helped me become a better writer and everything that I do. You've inspired me to write fantasy stories that I am in the process of making right now. Samantha, when Sharon left the school and Debbie announced that we would be hiring a new principal, I was curious what the candidates would be like. When you visited for the first time, I thought you would be the best fit. You make the community brighter and happier. When you became the principal, I was excited. Since you've come, this community has grown and become stronger. Your influence is incredible. Mary, you're always there for everyone in the morning, and you always smile at me when I come in. Debbie, you've been here for this school for the whole 25 years. You've done so much for each of the students and the school. Your dedication and your leadership are admirable. I'm going to miss seeing you and Bodhi every morning in high school, and I'm so glad I've got to be here for the 3 years with you. Great. As normal siblings do, we have ups and downs, a lot, but I appreciate you more than you think I do. Also, you always find some obnoxiously funny joke or pun to cheer me up when I'm sad. And the way you react when you're killed in a game and you've gotten so far, and you literally explode, I have to admit, it's funny. Granny and Grandpa, you two have been incredible grandparents to me my entire life. And I love it when you let me come to your lake cabin in the summer for a break in Steamboat. I love you both so much. Nana, because of you, I am able to feel that freedom here that I always want. Because of you, I am able to satisfy my needs and curiosity. You've paid for me to come here, and I'd say you got your money's worth. Papa, because of you, because you've always believed in me that I could do anything when I was younger, I still believe that today. When I feel like I can't do something, I always hear your voice saying, you can do anything, never give up. Mom and Dad, I love you both so much, and even though we also have ups and downs, I am grateful for everything you do for me. And Dad, let me just say, you are the world's best German speaker. 2.5 years ago, when my mom announced that we were moving, I said no way. But now I see that this was the best thing that my parents ever decided. Emerald Mountain School has given me the best school years of my life so far. I will never forget my years here. Thank you.